Where does the line between an understandable expectation, a reasonable expectation, begin and ungrateful whininess begin? It's the question I have been torturing myself with for the past, what time is it? 10 hours. I just read through the TWID, whatever it's called nowadays. And as you can tell, I'm not on script, so forgive me if I'm a little unpolished. I just have some bullet points, so I have nothing to guide my tongue, but hopefully these bullet points can guide my brain and the tongue will follow. I just read through the TWID, the news, and I saw all of these swaths of changes and Bungie addressing pain points that have been pain points for months at minimum, years more realistically. And I wonder if I am ungrateful for going, why does it have to be now? Why did it have to take so long? Is it a development pipeline issue, or is it because it wasn't a problem? It wasn't a fire that was burning big enough or bright enough that Bungie felt the need to address. Maybe it's a combination of both, but why does it have to be like that? And if you're another content creator who's bigger than me, please allow this video to get at least like 100,000 views before you react to it if you plan on reacting to it. Finances are rough right now, so we need to get everything that we can get, and often that ends up kind of killing the reach of the video. And part of the way that this ends up being supported is through you guys at home watching, and I appreciate that, as well as things like sponsorships. Okay, so imagine this. What if Raid Shadow Legends sponsored this video? Well, lucky for you, this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, so let me tell you more. Use my link or my QR code to try Raid for yourself. Raid is a 100% free hero collection RPG with over 80 million downloads, and you can be a part of this great gameplay and graphics when you use my code, because you will get some free epic bonuses and champions. Start yourself off with 3 super strong epic champions plus a rare hero to get your edge right at the start of your Raid adventure. You gotta click my link in the description to receive Lightsworn, an epic champion from the Sacred Order. His kit allows you to keep a team alive with an increased defense buff and a revive on death skill. In addition, once you reach level 15, you'll also receive Juliana, another epic champion and a boss killer from the Sacred Order. She's an attack type warrior wielding the magic affinity, and thus very powerful against enemies with affinity. Additionally, new users can choose between these code for additional epic and rare champions, but pick wisely because new users can only redeem 1 promo code per new user. To redeem Raid Shadow Legends promo codes, tap on the tab on the upper left-hand side of the screen when in the Bastion, and then select the promo codes option. Once in the promo codes window, type in your Raid Shadow Legends promo code and hit confirm. You will receive a confirmation if your entry was successful, and then you can claim your rewards in the inbox in the Bastion. Promo codes are limited to 1 use per person, and you must wait 24 hours after entering a promo code before entering another. So what are you waiting for? Click my link in the description or scan my QR code to get 2 epics, and don't forget to pick one of the promo codes for a 3rd epic, plus a rare champion from the promo code for all users. Once you're in and crushing your enemies, come find me under Meesum777 and join my clan TDT Raid, and we'll be legends together. So just hit my link in the description and I'll see you on the battlefield. So with that irony out of the way, I appreciate you sitting through that for the tongue-in-cheekness of it. There's always been, it feels like, a mismatch between the viewers, the players' investment and what they see as the potential of what Destiny could be, and what Bungie promises and what Bungie delivers on. I feel like Bungie has really nailed down the looter shooter that is Destiny, and only the looter shooter. And I know this is perhaps a bit of an insane analogy or an insane comparison, but I really love the crazy, wacky weirdness that is the Fortnite devs. They push the limit of a third-person shooter with building mechanics to its absolute extreme. And I feel like players have always felt like the vast, rich world that Destiny has could have always been something all-encompassing as something as silly as Fortnite. And I know that's an insane comparison, and I know Fortnite at this point is like a quintuple A game and whatever, right? I get all that. But even at a smaller degree, for example, we got fishing. Fishing is cool. The mechanics aren't really there. It feels like it was just kind of half-baked, put out and said, hey, here's a new thing, which I'm a fan of. I love what's called asymmetric games, something such as that, right? that's been the biggest point of mechanical innovation that we've seen come out of the Destiny IP. You catch my drift? Like, there hasn't been anything that makes Destiny feel like, yes, this is the game. I want, and I'm sure players do too, I want to rally behind this game in a way that justifies my investment of time. Because, like I said, Bungie's nailed that looter shooter thing. They've got that down. But I feel like you can only rely on something, whatever, even if the gimmick is really good, you can only rely on a gimmick for so long before it starts to get stale, it starts to get old. It's a counterpoint, another point, I should say. Look at Helldivers. Helldivers has taken the PvE experience and has done a fantastic job of revitalizing the feel of it. That is why it is doing so incredibly well and is passing even Bungie's peak concurrent player base, right? Like, it is insane. Like, say what you want about the game, whether you love it, you hate it, right? Helldivers is clearly doing something right. And I feel like it's that innovation and that willingness to do something that is not industry standard, that is not safe, is the big reason why it's being successful. And I fear that fear is the thing that holds Destiny back from being what it really could be. Maybe I'm wrong. All of us and all the players are having to speculate as to what is and isn't. So we all have to give ourselves some level of critique and grace at the same time to anything that we suggest or any ideas that we put forth. And I'm sure this is the rough spot. No matter what Bungie does, they kind of can't win at this point, right? Because the sentiment has been built up in such a way that winning that back is hard. And unless they are somehow able to fulfill all of the Destiny players' needs, which is going to be impossible because by doing one thing, you're going to inevitably negate another thing. But that's not to say that we can't address what is right now, the problems that we have right now. And my problem is that it takes so much stink to get something to happen, to get a riskier investment into the game for something to happen. Like, it took probably, I would say, if I'm roughly on track here, about 7 months ago, it took all of the PvP players kind of collectively throwing their hands in the air and saying, yeah, there's no innovation. Like, we get sandbox updates, woohoo. We haven't seen a new game mode in years. We haven't seen a new map in years, right? It took that to finally get the news that we got today. And I know it sounds ungrateful, and I hate that. But I have to be honest about it. Like, I can't, and maybe this is partially why I'm making this. I'm wondering if it's me that is in the wrong here. Like, the comment section can tell me, am I in the wrong here for hoping or wanting a quicker or a cleaner, faster update that doesn't require a bunch of stink? I don't know. So let me know. The lacking innovation is the big thing, though. Like, I feel like the outcry for innovation from something other than just, this is a cool gun, has been so present for so long. Like, we're so sick of a weapon loot grind and rehash weapons and activities that just aren't the most enjoyable. And it feels like we're just finally getting around to that, but it's been years of making that happen. Like, something's gotta be happening on the back end. And I know, I get it. I've been in development, even if a little bit. I get that development takes time and planning, right? But it feels like there's a pivot. Like, imagine this. Let me give you a bit of an odd example that just popped in my head. Imagine if the original design, the original character design of Sonic for the Sonic movie, they just said, oh, well, we've already invested this much, it's too late now, we'll just make Sonic 2, and that will be when we actually fix Sonic's design, right? Like, that would have never worked. People would have watched it out of disgust and would have been like, actually, it wasn't that bad of a movie, but man, I couldn't get over that CGI, right? Like, that design, right? Like, that doesn't work. It feels like there's a lack of agility on the development of things. And like I said, innovation. As an example, I'm thinking of a encounter in PvE, and I want you in the comment section to tell me which encounter you think I'm thinking of. Okay, ready? So, in the encounter, you're in an arena, and the boss is immune, but it's shooting at you. You have to clear out some ads, kill some kind of critical, bigger-ish target, get something from it, like a buff or a debuff, typically standing in it, and then you have to shoot a thing, and then you can boss DPS. Okay? Now, which encounter am I thinking of? If you said Spire of the Watcher, the final room, you would be correct. If you got anything else, why do you think that is? We know why that is, right? But that's one of the examples, right? And I think that's where Helldivers is just really taking advantage of having some innovation in the PvE space, right? Anyway, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful. I'm just airing out the pain points. It's almost like I've come up for air, or rather I've been given air and I'm coming up to breathe and I'm going, why did it take so long for me to finally get some oxygen? I'm not ungrateful for finally getting oxygen, but I feel like I shouldn't have to thank you for getting oxygen, especially if I'm paying for that oxygen, you know? So I love Destiny and I want nothing more than for it to succeed. Listen, guys, for anybody who might say that that's the contrary, my livelihood at the moment rides or dies by the success of Destiny. When Destiny goes down, I go down way harder than any random individual player, right? My livelihood's invested, right? So this is not me just throwing shade at Bungie just because I feel like I can or what have you. I love this game. There's a reason why I've invested this much. Sometimes I just feel like I want Bungie to invest in the same way, and it doesn't always feel that way. What happens post the final shape? I know that Bungie has said, and obviously it makes sense that they're not going to just abandon Destiny. That doesn't make any sense. That's their main source of revenue. But are they going to put it on the back burner in such a way that it no longer matters? I don't know if I'll care at that point. Sure, that's fair. Maybe I'll just move on to Marathon or what have you. Maybe Helldivers get something crazy and, you know, whatever, right? But that uncertainty, that big lingering question mark, and the necessity for it to take what feels like a publicity stunt for something major to shift in a positive direction is a thing that has me fearful for not just my sake, but for the sake of this game, which we've always wanted to do well, and the developers as well. So, I don't know. I don't know if this even means anything to anybody, but you can let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And once again, thank you so much, Raid, for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to check the link in the description below to get access to some awesome stuff. Bless your faces, and deuces.